Live. Today I wanted to talk about social media and the workplace. What I'll start off by saying is that wherever it is that you work, try and find out what your company policy is in regards to social media. So some companies they may have certain guidelines or policies on using social media. So the first thing to do would be to either go on your company's website or go contact HR or go into one of those plastic folders and actually physically see what the company policy is in regards to social media. Some workplaces may have confidentiality agreements in regards to if you work with patients or if you have clients, or just the nature of the job may have aspects of patient confidentiality. And so what you would need to find out is what would class as a data breach. So for example, if I work in a bank and I'm on social media, what types of topics can I talk about on social media about my workplace, whether that be some clients that may want to stay anonymous, or security settings within the bank, or people who might work within the bank. Depending on the nature of your job, you need to be careful in what you can post on social media, because as well as everything else, you wouldn't want to become a target. So say if you work in a storage unit where people store jewelry and other valuable items, you may not want to post on social media that you work there. So find out what the nature of a data breach would be in your workplace in regards to posting on social media about it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to speak about the drawbacks or the limitations of social media at work, and then I'll talk about the positives and the opportunities. So when I'm talking about social media at work, I'm more talking about workplaces that may be healthcare based or corporate or finance or jewelry, or just there's some workplaces that have very specific rules and guidance in regards to posting online. One of the issues might be location. You know, if you work somewhere where the location is quite Leo and Tills, those pups, I don't understand what that is. But shout out to Brooke Reeves and Brooke Reeves' friends, and hi to Connor Plays FN. So what I was saying is that some workplaces, thank you. So what I was saying is in some workplaces there may be repercussions in posting online. So depending on what those depending on what the guidance is, number one, find out what your company policy is in regards to posting your job online. Also as well, find out if your company where you work, find out if they want to be online, because some workplaces might not want to be represented online. Thank you for liking my live. Please like the live. Thank you for the person so far that's liked it. Another thing is that the words that you use online, you need to be careful of. So say if you're a teacher or if you work in a school, obviously some of the children's parents might look you up online just to see you know, how you represent yourself outside of work. So the language that you use online, you need to be careful. Brooks Reeves, thank you for liking my live. I definitely need way more likes than that. That would be great. It would be great for my engagement, and thank you. Yeah, so what I was saying is that in regards to the language that you use online, you have to be careful that you don't use any controversial language online. So you need to just stay professional at all times. Or what you can do is that you can put your settings to private so that the general public can't see your content. Or you can have like a nickname that you use online, so not exactly your real name online. You can just have like a nickname, and that way your employer or your colleagues won't be able to find you online. So that's one way you can work around it. What else? Image. So depending on the image of your workplace, depending on the image of what they want to put online, you need to be mindful of how you represent your. Thank you, Brooke Reeves, much appreciated. Please subscribe to my channel, just like Brooke Reeves. Thank you again. And let me know if there's any topics that you'd want me to go over in the coming weeks. Okay, so language. You need to be careful of the language that you use online if there's a possibility that your workplace might monitor your engagements online. Also, as well, depending on who you work for, they wouldn't want to see a conflict in their values or in their mission statement and in what you're doing online. I'll give you an example. So if you're a vegan, or if you work for a company that believe that, you know, one of their mission statements or part of their values is protecting animals and not being cruel to animals, or not using you know, products that that possibly might have been as a result of animal cruelty, I would question why you would go around on social media in a fur coat. Do you see what I mean? Or say if you work for somewhere that's like that's championing vegetarianism, or a policy that says that people shouldn't go on safaris, or you know, that type of thing, and then you just, you know, go around eating a burger or doing something silly online, that goes against what your company's values are, and there could be a backlash on you. Obviously those things are very like specific, but I'm just giving an example. Sometimes when you contradict yourself online, it can be it can lead to some consequences that you may not have expected. Also as well, oh bless. Also as well, you need to sometimes say if you're trying to network in order to find a job and you're on LinkedIn, or say if you're on another, say if you're on something else, maybe X or something else. Bye, Brooke Reeves. Thank you. So if you're on another platform, you just need to be mindful that you are still representing, you are still being an ambassador for your workplace. That's okay. That's fine. Thank you for liking the live, and it's fine. You can go. Thank you very much. Thank you for your engagement. Yeah, so what I would say is that, you know, there's some examples on social media where people have done different things, and people have actually tagged their workplace, people have actually tagged their employer, and they've been like, well, hey, this person works for you, and they've done this, they've done that, and so that can, obviously that can cost them their job because their workplace doesn't want that person to represent them in any capacity. So that's something you need to be mindful of. Also as well, you need to have boundaries when you're online. You need to have boundaries in the sense that you need to, some people post their location a lot. Some people post exactly where they are on social media at all times, and you do need to be mindful of that. You may not want to post where you are, you know, or where you're going, or what, exactly where you are at what time, and that's just having just being aware of your safety, I would say. The good things about social media is that social media at work is it's a way to market your workplace. It's a powerful tool in regards to marketing. And so some workplaces, they might be really happy that you do have a presence online. Your workplace might be very encouraging in the fact that you have an online presence, and you have lots of engagement, and you have followers. Some workplaces might actually like that. If you are online a lot, just be mindful of the way you do speak about your workplace, because that can also bring some conflict unawares, you know. So try not to badmouth your workplace or your employer when you're online, because you know it's amazing the way that things can get back to your employer. So be careful if you are going to make any constructive criticism about your employer. Just think twice before posting it online, so you don't jeopardize your employment. Okay, so another point is ownership of your account. So if you are online in regards to your workplace, who actually owns the account? So say if you decide to leave the workplace, do you take that following with you, or can they monitor it? Can they monitor what your engagement online? So sometimes you just need to be careful in regards to, is my account my personal account, or am I also going to allow my workplace to have access to it and to post things work related? But remember, if you are going to post things that's work related, you need to take on board what their values are and what their mission statement is. So that's something to think of. Also, social media is a good way to raise the profile of your employer. Your employer can actually use your online presence to raise their profile, which could be a good thing, because obviously you might have access to a demographic that they don't have access to. Also, social media at work is a good way to get to know people, but it that can social media is a good way to get to know people at work, but if things go sour, you may feel uncomfortable knowing that people at work can actually access your can that's okay. Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Yeah, so people can actually, you know, say if you get on with everybody at work and you're all in a WhatsApp group, or you're all, you're all, they're your Instagram followers and everything else, great. But say if something happens at work, say if there's a fallout, and then you're not as close to everybody at work, or you're not friends with them, it can feel a bit oppressive, because if they can follow you online, and but you don't get on, you just might feel a bit oppressed. You might feel like, oh man, I don't really want them to see what I do outside of work, or I don't really want them to really know me on that level anymore, or you might leave your workplace and you don't really want them to see what you're doing outside of your workplace, or there might be lots of gossip at work and you just don't want people to have access to your social media information. So getting to know people is good, is great, but mixing social media with your colleagues can be a bit, it's just something to be mindful and to be careful of, because you know when you're at work and then you finish work and then you decide, you go home. Great, work is over, you've left work at work. But if you've got people all up in your social media and then you finish work, it's quite it can feel quite uncomfortable, because then you feel like they always have access to you. But it depends on how vulnerable you want to be to your work colleagues and to your employer. What else? Boundaries. And so, in regards to boundaries, just know what you want people to know and what you don't want people to know, because it can be sometimes you might overshare, and you might give out a lot of information that you actually regret giving out. So it's always good to make your own boundaries in regards to, okay, what I will post and what I won't post. So some people, they don't post their children. Some people, they don't post their address. Some people don't post. Sorry, if you can hear that, that's my partner on the phone just shouting his head off. But yeah. So you it's always best to sit down and decide, okay, this isn't what I'm going to put on social media, and this is what I'll put on social media. And so some people, they put a time lag on things. So if something happens, like say if there's a pregnancy or a new house, or they never put it on social media in real time. They just leave a time lag. So they might not put it on social media for, a month or so. And so in real life, all their friends know what the latest news is, but online, you wouldn't know until a month afterwards. Okay, so some people do things that way. Also, I don't know how to say. So when you are online, sometimes people can misinterpret what you say or what you mean, and so you have to make sure that you communicate properly with people. People don't get the wrong idea. If you're making jokes to people at work, I'm talking about. So in regards to social media and work, I'm so sorry about that interruption. I do apologize. Yeah, so social media and workplace is something that you just need to be careful of. It's just something that you need to tread carefully with. It can definitely be a bonus. It can definitely be something that can elevate your career forward. It can definitely allow you to network and create opportunities in other places with other people. But it's also a two-edged sword, and it can create issues. There are crimes that are related to social media, like stalking, harassment, bullying. Bullying is something, and so when you're talking to somebody face to face, obviously they can see what your intentions are. They can see, they can see how you what you when you're talking to somebody like face to face or on the phone. they can hear your tone, they know where you're coming from, they understand what your motives are. But when somebody is your reading your reading your messages, they can, they can project, and they can end up feeling something that you didn't intend for them to feel. So they can interpret what you say to them in a way that you did not intend, and that's where bullying can come into play, or harassment and everything else. So I believe there's 9 protected characteristics, yeah. And if if you highlight any of those things in a negative way to somebody, they can actually accuse you of discrimination and of harassment. So you have to be mindful in what you in how you communicate with those people online. I personally don't mix social media and work. I don't like to mix the two. I don't like to, yeah, I just, unless it's deliberate, I don't like to mention my workplace or things that I may have gone through at my workplace. I mean, not to say that I would never do that. I may do so one day. I may decide to talk about different things that have happened at work. However, I think it's important that people are able to trust you at work. People understand that if they confide in you, you're not going to put it on social media. However, if something is public knowledge already, if there's information that's already online, then I don't see the harm in putting it on social media. If something's confidential, that's a whole different ball game. If something's confidential, um, you shouldn't bring it onto social media, and that includes pictures, and so you shouldn't really allow people to see where you are, if that's private as well. I think there, I may decide to talk about my workplace online. I may decide to talk about different things that I've been through online, but I would really have to make a decision and decide as to whether or not it's worth it. Because sometimes when you do apply for jobs, they can actually search for your behavior online. Most people have a digital footprint, which is what your tracks are in on the internet. And so, say if I was to apply for a job, or if I was to start a new job, some people just might look you up online. I know somebody that was on a dating app, and she ended up seeing, I think she matched with her doctor or something, and then she was like, her doctor, and obviously, he just shut her communication down. He didn't he didn't communicate with her any further on the dating app. But in that type of situation where potentially there is a power imbalance, you need to be careful. So if your workplace has a policy on dating, people at work, or clients, or customers, or patients, or and those people approach you online, you need to be mindful, and you just need to be careful of any power imbalance in that type of scenario. um yeah, so I just wanted to talk about um social media and the workplace, because some people um some people aren't fully sure of how it all works. But I think sometimes if you make certain accounts private, and also as well, if you maybe use a nickname, so maybe you can be online under under an alias, like if you just make up a nickname and just be online under that name, and then hopefully you won't get people that can find you as easily as you know, as you as usual. But some people don't mind being seen online. Some people don't mind people accessing their information and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's no big deal. But yeah, so that's my take on social media at work. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any thoughts in regards to social media at work. I think sometimes it can be. I think sometimes people can lurk on your page. People can lurk, on different platforms and just kind of like what you're doing, who you're friends with, where you're going, this, that, and the other. So I think in that case, it's not much you can do. If people want to be miserable and just like follow you online and gossip about you at work, there's nothing you can do about that. So just leave it as that. So yeah, so that's all I wanted to say really. There's really good there's really good opportunities in regards to your workplace and having a social media presence, and there's also negatives, there's also drawbacks to that. Also as well, when you're online, make sure you don't get scammed. Some people might come online and pretend to be something that they're not, or they might pretend to be someone that they're not at all. And so, make sure that you stay safe online. Make sure that if anybody comes to you with any opportunities online, that you verify it and you make sure that it's legit. That's all I can think of in regards to being online. Let me know if anybody has any questions or any thoughts about social media in the workplace. I think in some cases, social media can be a form of control at work, especially if you work from home. If you work from home, I don't know. I mean, ages and ages ago, there was a situation where this workplace took one of their employees to disciplinary because what they said is that she was off sick, but online they saw that she went on holiday, right? So they took this person to disciplinary because they were saying that, oh well, you were off sick for this amount of time, but we saw on social media that you went on holiday. And also as well, apparently they were meeting up with people from work, outside of work. So they were meeting up with people from work, and they'd also been on holiday, and all this time they were on long-term sick. So they were taking this person to disciplinary, and and the person that they were trying to discipline, they said, number one, they said, number one, my social media account is private. So how did you get to see? They were off sick, and apparently they'd gone away on holiday, and also as well, they were meeting up with their colleagues from work, like socially, and so they were going to discipline them. So when they brought this disciplinary to the worker, number one, the worker said, "Well, my social media accounts are private, so how did you get to see my pictures?" And number two, she said that because she was unwell with long-term sick, she was actually recuperating by going overseas. That was part of her recovery process. And she said that whether she met people outside of work or not, when she was off sick, she was off sick, and all of those things helped her to recover. And she actually won her case. She won her case. And I was so shocked. I was so shocked. But yeah, she won her case because number one, if her account is private, what are they doing looking at her pictures? How do they get access? And number two, going on holiday and meeting people outside of work was part of her recuperation. So yeah, so she won her case. So, I guess people shouldn't really monitor and spy on you online, but there you go. So I'm going to round off now. Sorry about the hiccups in the live. I'll work on that for next time. So I'll be off. Does anybody have any questions or any queries at all in regards to social media and the workplace? The most important thing is to find out what your company policy is in relation to social media. Find out what your company policy is, and also decide what your boundaries are going to be. Go to your privacy settings and consider how you want, what type of settings you want in regards to your privacy, and also be intentional about being online. Have your be mindful of what you're putting online. Be mindful of your digital footprint as well. If you're in a WhatsApp group and there's madness going on, be mindful of that. There was a case with some policemen that were just being really unprofessional in their WhatsApp group, and they ended up being done for misconduct and stuff, rightfully so. But it just goes to show that if you're not professional in your WhatsApp group with your work colleagues, there is a possibility that things could go further and there could potentially be repercussions for you. Also, communicating on social media, make sure that you don't come across in any capacity, in any negative capacity at all. So whether that be, you know, you don't want to face any accusations of bullying, of harassment, of stalking, and what have you. Also, as well, be aware of any power imbalance when you interact with people online, potentially. So, say if you're a doctor or you're a policeman or something, and you're on a dating app and you see people potentially that you want to date, but you've actually interacted with them in a professional capacity. Just be mindful and be careful of how that can play out. Yeah, so that's it. I don't have anything else to say. I hope you found some of the information useful. Once again, I do apologize for the hiccups. I'll have that sorted for next time. If you have any questions at all, please put it in the chat and I'll be happy to go through them with you. Yeah, also having a nickname online can be helpful. Having a nickname, or you can have more than one account. You can have like a work account, like a professional account, and then you can just have like just like a normal account in regards to what you can and can't say, what you can and can't do. I don't have anything else to say. I hope you've enjoyed the live. I hope you've been able to find some useful information in anything I've said at all. If you do want some further information in regards to social media at work, if you go onto the ACAS website, that's ACAS, that's Alpha Charlie Alpha Sierra, acas.org.uk, and if you look up social media at work, they'll be able to give you advice on social media in the workplace. Thank you very much for tuning in to my live. I will be going live again on Sunday to talk about how to communicate effectively at work, and I hope that you're able to join me. I believe that's around 3 o'clock, 3 in the afternoon. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, any constructive criticism, feel free to put it in the comments, or yeah, just let me know next time you see me on live. But thank you for your time. Hope you have a good evening, depending on where in the world that you are. And yeah, I'll see you. Thank you. Bye. Just sorry. Thank you. Bye.